Members of the jury, look, I know I'm not supposed to talk to you before the case, but I just need you to know that I am not a murderer. This is some sort of crazy mix-up. I was traveling from New York to Miami when I stopped in this little town, Berserksville. Big mistake. Turns out there's a murderer on the loose with the same color pickup truck as me, and now I'm a prime suspect. I'm so nervous, and I haven't even met my lawyer yet. You're not my lawyer, are you?
Oh, Tracy?
Casey.
Casey, right. I missed Flops. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Because sometimes I just...
You seem pretty disorganized.
Oh, well, because sometimes you just, have those...
Look,
days.
All I care about is if we're gonna win.
Yes. I have full confidence in this case. You have a solid alibi. There's no way you'll lose. I mean, just as long as there's not a mixture.
Who's Mr. Scammerton?
Oh no. Oh no. This is horrible.
Why? Who is he?
He's the best prosecution attorney in the whole state. He has never lost a case.
He's really that good?
The best.
Well, I mean, I am innocent, so it shouldn't be that hard to prove, right?
Well, you see, Mr. Scammerton doesn't really play by the rules. He's a little,
Who's ready to win a case today? Because I ate some Victorios for breakfast with a tall glass of self-esteem, and I'm ready to fight. It's the eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight, rising up to
And
the challenge.
who are you?
Me? I'm a winner. I'm an unstoppable force. I am
Mr. Scammerton?
in the flesh. And I'm guessing you are the defendant.
Yeah. Look, I just need to tell you that I am not...
Psych! Here's a tip for you, kid. Trust no one.
Not even my lawyer?
You really want to trust that?
Hey, I may not be...
Look,
Oh.
I just need you to know that I'm not a murderer. They grabbed the wrong person, and I'm not actually a murderer.
Yeah. Look, that sounds like a personal problem to me. See, I don't care if you're innocent or guilty. All I care about is winning. I've never lost a case, and I don't plan on starting today.
You would really send an innocent person to jail just for the sake of winning?
Yeah.
How could you?
Look, you really shouldn't fear failure. It's silly for you to fear the inevitable.
I can't believe you. You're part of the justice system. You're supposed to believe in truth and liberty and other things.
Yeah. Look, you better get ready, because by the looks of your team, you're going to need it.
All rise for the Honorable Judge Falter.
Thank you. You may now be seated. Court is now in session.
Case number 19-1465. The people of Berserksville versus Casey Lissett for the murders of Greta Feta, Pepper Jackson, and Greta Feta is now in session.
Is the prosecution ready?
Born ready, Your Honor.
Is the defense ready?
I guess, Your Honor.
Prosecution, your opening statement.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what I want you to do is close your eyes and imagine. Now, I want you to picture a murderer, a girl with brown hair, a blue shirt with some kind of necklace thing. Now, I want you to open your eyes. And doesn't that image look a lot like this person over here?
Objection! Your Honor, he's clearly describing my appearance.
Silence. Overruled. Keep going, Mr. Scammerton.
Now, I would like to be known as a fair lawyer, a just lawyer. I don't want to show bias towards things that divide us as people. Things like gender. Gender is often used to discriminate in the workplace, but not by me. Anyway, I trust that you, the jury, will come to the conclusion and provide the right verdicts. You all seem like very knowledgeable people, very intelligent. Some might even say you're a bunch of smarties. Here, have some, courtesy of me, the prosecution. Here, yeah. Let's get that.
Objection, Your Honor. He's literally bribing the jury with candy.
Hold on a second. Mr. Scammerton, can I have one?
Yeah, sure.
Then this is fine. Overruled.
What? He's gonna win just because you'll let him do whatever he
Order
wants.
in the court. Please. Keep going, Mr. Scammerton.
I am inspired by great leaders. Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King Jr., Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, all outstanding people who will be remembered throughout history, who have touched America. I also think I have touched America by putting sickos like Casey Lissett behind bars and off the streets. Now, does this make me a good person, a saint? Yes, it does. But still, I remain humble. Humble is my middle name. Actually, it's Cedric, but that's beside the point. If they held humble awards, I would totally win, but I would just brush it off like it's nothing, because that's the type of person I am. Point is, I am the good guy here, and Casey Lissett and Ms. Flops are the ones corrupting society. A vote for a guilty Casey is a vote for a safer world. Thank you. Try and beat that.
Defense, your opening statement?
The reason that my client Macy is
Casey.
Casey, right, Casey. The reason that my client Casey is guilty is that she no. I meant not guilty. I meant not guilt. I meant not guilt. Can I start over?
No.
Okay. Come on, Thelma, you got this. You're not going to be a disappointment, not this time. Despite what Mother says, you can be a winner. Yeah. Casey Lissett is not guilty. It's as simple as that. She was nowhere near the scene of any of the crimes when they were committed. Well, I mean, I guess she was in town for the one, and if you think about it, she probably could have driven back for the other two.
No, what are you doing? You're supposed to be defending me, not helping the prosecution.
Yeah, I don't need your help, but if you want to run your case straight into the ground, you can totally do that too.
Look, I know I'm no Mr. Scammerton, all right? I know I'm not as put together as Mr. Scammerton. I don't have talent or charm or a law degree.
Wait,
but
what?
there is something that I do have. That thing is the thing that I have. I know I wrote it down here somewhere. The thing is, well, I have a thing. Can't tell you what it is, but it's a real competitive edge, I'll tell you that. Thank you.
Would the prosecution like to call forward its first witness?
We would, Your Honor. The first witness the prosecution calls is Casey Lissett.
Wait, me? He can do that?
I'll allow it.
Come on, Casey, step right up.
Oh no. I know my rights. I do not have to testify against myself.
Party pooper.
What did you just call me?
I believe the prosecution here called you a party pooper.
I am not a party pooper just because I don't want to testify.
Oh, look out,
against
guys. We got a real Debbie Downer on our hands here today.
I am not a Debbie Downer.
Then you
just
wouldn't
because
mind answering a few questions for me now, would you? After all, if you're as innocent as you say you are, this shouldn't be a problem now, should it? Here, I'll make you a deal. You can stay in your seat right there, if Judge Falter would allow it, of course.
I will allow it.
Fine.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Now, most murderers won't just fess up to their crimes.
Well, I'm not a murderer, so
But
that
I
doesn't
am
actually-
an expert. I went to law school and I've been practicing for a good amount of time now. I'm a seasoned veteran. I know the ins and outs of a courtroom. And over the years, I've acquired the skills, the sophisticated tactics it takes to get through to a criminal. Guilty person say what?
What?
That's all we needed to hear. No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the defense like to cross-examine?
I don't know if I can come up with anything after that.
Yes. Yes, you can.
I don't have a paper for this.
Just ask me questions.
Okay, what's your favorite color?
Questions about the murders, Miss Flops.
Oh, right. So why'd you do it?
I didn't. You're my defense lawyer. You should know that.
Right. Why didn't you do it?
Because I'm not even from here. I was driving from New York to Miami when I was stopped and arrested. There's no proof that I'm the murderer, except that I apparently drive the same color pickup as the murderer. But anyone can have a white pickup truck. I'm not from here, and I don't know who these people are. And why would I want to kill them? I have no motive.
Objection! I want that stricken from the record.
On what grounds?
Honestly, those are just some really good points that don't help my case at all. So I want it stricken from the record.
Okay.
What?
Well, you have got to admire his honesty.
Yeah, but you don't have to actually.
Hey, don't you argue with me or I'll hold you in contempt of court. Continue, Mr. Scammerton. Or rather, Miss Flops.
Oh, well, you said you had no motive.
No, like I said, I don't know any of these people. So why would I want to hurt innocent? I don't know who these people are. And why would I go out of my way to hurt someone who... I don't know any of these people. And why would I want to hurt bystanders if I... I'm sorry, Mr. Scammerton. Am I boring you?
Oh, don't mind me. Just patiently waiting for my turn to redirect.
As I was saying, I don't want to hurt anyone who's innocent. And why would I want to... You know what? I think we're done.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the prosecution like to redirect?
I mean, if they're already finished, I guess I could. Miss Lissett, haven't you not, couldn't have, not even to, shouldn't have, not wouldn't have, could not even, couldn't have been the murderer?
I don't understand the question.
It's a simple yes or no question, Miss Lissett.
Well, you see, I don't want to accidentally admit to being a murderer when I'm not a murderer. So.
You know who else is afraid of accidentally admitting to being a murderer?
Who?
A murderer.
Do you have any real questions for me?
No, I'm known as a pretty reasonable guy.
I thought you were asking me questions.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Now, I'm not known to exaggerate or blow things out of proportion. But this person has to be the most atrocious, despicable person that ever walked the face of this earth ever. And I'm counting people who pour their milk into their bowl before their cereal. Yes, she's that bad.
I am not someone who...
Now, how am I to try and reason with someone so off-balanced, so deranged? How could I possibly
That's
try and
ridiculous.
question
I'm not crazy or deranged.
someone who is...
I am not anyone who would...
Someone who doesn't know how to sit and listen instead of interrupting me all the time. Now, I have no further questions for her. And it is not because when I was feeding the ducks at the park, I accidentally fed them this part of my notes.
Why would you even bring that up?
But it is simply because she is too unstable to answer anything truthfully. No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the defense like to redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Very well then.
Miss Flops, why didn't you redirect? They could have heard more from my side of the story.
Oh, well, I didn't have any questions written down either, but I didn't have as cool of an excuse as Mr. Scamerton had.
Does the prosecution want to call its next witness?
We would, Your Honor. The prosecution calls Penny Fadson to the stand.
State your name for the court.
Penny Fadson?
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please restate your name for the court.
Penny Fadson?
And what do you do for a living, Miss Fadson?
I'm a blogger.
And what do you blog about?
I blog about blogging about other blogs.
And what is your relationship to the victim, Bree Cottage?
I knew Brie Cottage from blogging when 3 whole days had gone by and she hadn't posted anything. I just knew something was up.
So, what did you do?
I went to literally all of her favorite places looking for her. The Riverwalk because of its aesthetics, and the coffee shop on the corner because it is #delish. But I ended up finding her in the park.
And how was she when you found her?
She was totes dead.
How did she die?
It looked like she'd been strangled to death.
Strangled to death, you say? May the jury note that the defendant has 2 hands, perfect for strangling.
That's ridiculous. Everyone has 2 hands.
May the jury also note that the defendant discriminates against amputees and those born without arms. No. Miss Fadson, how did this death affect you?
Honestly, the whole thing was just #tragic. It was great for blogging though. I got a ton of hits from that. Actually, could y'all stand still for a picture? Murder trials are toast trending right now. Perfect. They'll love this on the internet.
Now, what I have here is some hardcore photo proof from the scene of the crime. To those of you who are a bit more squeamish, you may want to look away.
Photo proof? That's a grand drawing.
Okay, you got me. You got me. Believe it or not, these are actual drawings I drew from the scene of the crime.
Really?
But it's so realistic.
What are you talking about? It's clearly just a
A masterpiece? Yes, I think we all know that, Casey. But we have to stick to the case. Now, Miss Fadson, does this accurately depict what you saw when you first found the body?
It does.
Isn't it great? Oh, I really love how I did the sun and the sky. Oh, I especially love.
I thought we were focusing on the case, Mr. Scammerton.
Fine. Now, this next picture is a close-up of the neck. And I warn you, there is a little blood and gore, so you may want to look away.
Oh.
This
Oh.
may be too graphic for the courtroom.
It looks too much like the actual thing. I can't even.
I think I might faint.
What are you guys talking about? It's clearly just a squiggly line and wavy lines.
Now, what do you mean? This is true art.
See? Thank you.
Whose side are you on anyway? Look, it is just a wavy line with some scribbles. And come on, it's labeled so that we know what it is. Without it, it would just be a crayon drawing. The jury cannot be buying this, can you? I mean, it's just a squiggly line.
Hey, the jury is a noble, sensible bunch. They are intelligent and strong-willed. Not to mention, a great-looking group of people, if I do say so myself. The jury knows the difference between right and wrong, between what is legitimate evidence and what is not. And of course, when approached with evidence as such, of course
They don't take it seriously.
take it as a legitimate source. Wait, did you just say they don't take it seriously? How could they not?
How could they? I mean, it's literally
Okay. If you haven't been convinced before, this picture will surely show you that's it. And actually, this is a group of turkeys I drew the other day.
Lovely turkeys.
Very well drawn.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do this series of drawings called Beasts Running Wild. And I started on this turkey one the other day, and it turned out great. But it's all I've had time to do with the court case and everything. You know, I always wanted to be an artist, but my father insisted I become a lawyer. There's no future for artists in this country, he said. The lawyer will make much better money, he said. You have to think practical, he said. Well, what if I don't want to think practical? Well, what if I want to follow my dreams? Some of us still have dreams, Daddy. No further questions for the witness, Your Honor.
Would the defense like to cross-examine?
Yes, we would, Your Honor. Now, Miss Fadson, did you see the person who strangled Bree Cottage?
Nope.
So you have no real way of knowing who it was?
I guess not. But I'm just getting this vibe that it was her.
Fair enough.
What? No, not fair enough. This is a court case. We need to go off of cold, hard facts, not just vibes.
Well, I'm getting the vibe you woke up on the wrong side of the bed today, didn't you?
It's all in your aura. We can see it from here.
Let's look at the facts. You didn't see me, so you can't prove that it was me.
Well, yes, but it's in your aura.
And as we all know, you can't fake an aura.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the prosecution like to redirect?
No, I'm good, Your Honor.
You're excused. Would the prosecution like to call its next witness?
We would, Your Honor. The prosecution calls Glenn Chatter to the stand.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please restate your name and occupation for the court.
Glenn Chatta, town gossip.
Your occupation is town gossip?
I am the ears of this town. Nothing happens without me hearing about it.
So, what's the news?
You want to hear the news? The word on the street?
Yeah, what's the word?
Well, I know this guy who knows this guy who knows this guy's podiatrist, and this is what I heard. So, way down on the lower east and west side of town, right? There'll be the third alleyway you see, okay? Not the one with the dog who knows how to play the harmonica, but the other one. There, you'll find a building, one that vaguely reminds you of the set of a low-budget horror movie. And you'll enter in the back. Waiting there will be a one-eyed, three-armed man named Ambiguous Pete, who will give you a very indifferent answer as to whether or not you're allowed to enter. Enter anyway. And if old Pete comes running after you, ask him about his childhood. That'll send him running for the hills, because confrontation is his biggest fear. Next to snakes and losing a game of Monopoly. When you get inside, you'll get this really weird feeling. Like when you see one of your teachers outside of class, or when you find out one of your friends is distantly related to Henry VIII. Now, don't let this stop you. And there you will find a woman with bright blue eyebrows, but not above her eyes, sitting in the corner. You go up to her and say, "The geese fly south in the winter. It's now time for them to come home." She will nod, and that is when you get your Michael Jackson CDs.
What? This was about Michael Jackson CDs? This isn't even relevant to the case.
Michael Jackson is always relevant. He's the king of pop and one of history's greatest entertainers of all time.
So beat it. Just beat it.
Wait, you're singing now?
Shh. Michael Jackson, 1958 to 2009. R.I.P.
What is going on here?
Excuse you? Have some respect.
You really do belong in prison if you don't have respect for the king of pop.
Can we please just get back on with the case now?
Okay. I guess if you want to brush away the important things in life, fine. I guess we can ask more questions. Miss Chatter, what else do you know?
Well, I heard from my brother, who heard from his barra, who heard from the local bar mitzvah coordinator. And this is what I know. So, far away from here, like 2 miles or so, there'll be this homeless Joe living under the bridge. Now, he will try and ask you a riddle. Try and answer correctly. But if you don't, old Joe doesn't have much motivation in life and will let you cross anyway because he is a huge pushover. So, you go over the river and through the woods until you see this blue chicken. When you reach the blue
murders.
chicken, you'll have to go,
What do you know about the murders?
I was getting there.
Were you really?
No.
There were 3 murders, Miss Chatter. Bree Cottage, Pepper Jackson, Greta Fetta. Do you know anything about these murders?
Oh, murder. Oh, yes. I know lots about murders. So, there's this guy, right? He dies in this huge stampede, right? It looks like an accident. His son thinks it's all his fault, but really, it was the dad's brother's fault. He staged the whole thing so he could get away with the family power. So the son runs off, right? And he joins this warthog and this meerkat, and they go on all sorts
Isn't
of
that
crazy.
the plot to The Lion King?
Well, there's this other family, you see. A mom, a dad, a bunch of kids. Then something horrible happens, and the mom and most of the kids die, leaving the father with only one kid who has a physical disability. Because of the past, the father is very overprotective of this kid. But then, one day, he gets lost, and the father has gone a crazy adventure to find him. He joins this woman with short-term memory problems, and then they have
That's
to.
Finding Nemo.
Well, there's this other family, you see. They have a pig, right? But then they can't take care of the pig anymore, so the pig goes to live on this farm. But on the farm, there's this spider who's been helping him, writing in her web. And
And that's the plot to Charlotte's Web. Nobody's even murdered in that movie. Well, Charlotte dies, but that's not the point. The point is
Spoiler alert! Ms. Chatter, it doesn't seem like you know anything vital to this case.
Well, I was just getting. Sometimes it. No.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the defense like to cross-examine?
Oh, we would, Your Honor, yes. Now, Miss Chatter. How does Finding Nemo end?
Miss Flops.
I've never seen the movie before. I'm curious.
We're finished, Your Honor.
Would the prosecution like to redirect? All right. Does the prosecution have any more witnesses?
We do, Your Honor. The prosecution calls Clarissa Vender to the stand.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name for the court.
Clarissa Bender.
And what is your profession?
I own a business. Don't have a cow. Cow removal services.
Cow removal services?
That's right. You've got the calf. We've got the moving staff. Just call 1-800-555-6433.
And what is your relationship to any of the victims?
Well, Pepper Jackson was my neighbor across the hall in our apartment building, and also a supporter of my business. Don't have a cow. You got the cow. We can take it now. Just call 1-800-555-6433.
And what do you know about the murder?
Well, the night of the murder, I was sitting in my apartment thinking about my business. Don't have a cow. You got the beef. We've got the movers that you need. I actually have some cards. Don't have a
Miss
cow.
Vender, please just tell us about the night of the murder.
Well, the night of the murder, I was sitting in my apartment when I heard someone walking down the hall. I thought it was someone coming to talk to me about my business. Don't have a cow. You got the steer. We can take it from here. Just call 1-800-555.
Miss Vender! No more advertising of your business will be tolerated from now on.
Then what's the point of being a witness?
To help put that one behind bars.
Hey, I'm not a murderer.
Shh. Now, Ms. Vender, would you please tell us about the night of the murder of Pepper Jackson?
So, I was sitting in my apartment and I was...
Was your door open?
Yes, both our doors were open, but I hadn't seen her for a while.
Did you hear anything?
Not really. That's why I crossed over to her apartment. There, I found her sitting in a chair. I shook her a few times, thinking she was unconscious, until I saw the stab wounds.
So, to recap what you just said. You were both in your apartments, and both your doors were open. You hadn't crossed paths that day, and you didn't hear anything either. Immediately after the murder, you crossed over to her apartment where you found her body sitting in a chair. You shook the body and bam, you saw the stab wounds.
No. That's not what happened. This is how it went down. So we were both in our apartments, and yes, both our doors were open. But I had seen Pepper Jackson earlier that day. I just hadn't seen her prior to the murder. Now, I heard something, and then I heard a scream, which is why I crossed over to her apartment. There, I found her sitting in a chair. I shook the body, and I saw the stab wounds on her.
Wait, hold on.
Wait a minute. So it was like,
Look, it's very simple. So we were both in our apartments, and both the doors were open.
And your paths had crossed earlier that day, but not near the time of the murder.
Yes. And then I heard something, and then I heard a scream, which is why I crossed over to her apartment. There, I found her sitting in a chair.
You shook her to see if she was still alive.
And bam! I saw the stab wounds on her.
How is this court even real?
I think we understand much more clearly now, Miss Bender. Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the defense like to redirect?
yes, we would, Your Honor. Now, you're a witness to the murder of Pepper Jackson, correct?
Uh-huh.
And now, did you actually see the murderer?
No, I did not.
So you have no real way of knowing if Casey is the murderer.
I guess so.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the prosecution like to redirect?
We would, Your Honor. Now, Miss Bender, you have not seen the murderer, so it could be anyone in the world, correct?
That would make sense.
And because of these wide possibilities, we cannot rule out Casey Lissett as a possible suspect. Now, can we?
I guess not.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the defense like to redirect?
No, Your Honor.
You're excused.
This is ridiculous. None of these witnesses are legitimate. They either didn't see the crime or they are totally unqualified. None of these witnesses should be taken seriously.
Does the prosecution want to call any more witnesses?
We would, Your Honor. The prosecution calls Professor Puffle to the stand.
A professor, huh? Well, I mean, that does seem rather professional. I trust the word of a professor. Why is Professor Puffle holding a guinea pig?
That guinea pig is Professor Puffle.
What?
She was in the room during the murder of Pepper Jackson. She saw the whole thing. Who else could be a better witness?
Gee, I don't know. Maybe a human being?
Would you hush up? It's my turn to question.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Professor Puffle, you were there on the night of the murder of Pepper Jackson, correct?
It's not going to answer you.
Give her some time. This was her owner, her very best friend she saw murdered. This is a very emotional time for her. Give her some space.
It's not going to answer you. It's just a guinea pig. Doesn't matter.
May I? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what I want you to do is to look hard at this poor creature, this poor orphaned creature. She no longer has a place to call home. her owner, no, her mother, tragically killed. And it was all witnessed by her poor little eyes. Who could kill someone is one question, but who could kill someone in front of such an innocent and helpless little animal? We've seen Casey Lissett's intolerance for this beautiful, adorable creature. How she has no regard for her feelings. Doesn't matter, she says. Just like it wouldn't matter as she's murdering her owner right in front of her. I don't know how she sleeps at night, knowing that this little being will permanently live with trauma. No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the defense like to cross-examine?
Oh, I guess. So, like, it wasn't really that traumatizing to watch Casey Wood murder your owner, was it?
No, wait, I didn't kill anyone.
Right. Oh my goodness, right. So, so Granny picks up, like, bad eyesight. Maybe, right? So maybe you saw someone else? Should I take that as a yes?
You should definitely take that as a no.
Oh. Okay.
Wait, no, you can't just let him.
I have no further questions.
Would the prosecution like to redirect?
Just one question, Your Honor. Professor Puffle, I know we've had our difficulties communicating here today,
I'll say.
but I just want to ask you a question in the simplest form I can. Twitch your nose if Casey Lissett is the murderer. Did you see that? A witness identification, a solid case. We might as well lock her up right now.
How could you possibly think that that could actually?
Would the defense like to redirect?
No, Your Honor.
You're excused.
You know what? I think this is a good time for a music break.
A music break?
This one's a classic. There was a girl who was guilty, and Casey was her name. Oh, C-A-S-E-Y, 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 and Casey was her name. Oh, come on, you all know the words. Join in. There was a girl who was guilty, and Casey was her name. Oh,
C-A-S-E-Y, 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 and Casey was her name. Oh.
What are you doing? You're supposed to be on my side.
It's just so catchy.
That's it. You're fired.
Fired?
Yeah, that's right. I don't need someone who can't remember what side they're on.
Oh. Okay. Well, good luck against him. You're gonna need it.
so you fired your lawyer. Pretty bold move.
Yeah, well, she wasn't much help anyway.
Well, you caught me in a good mood, and since I'm so far ahead, I'm going to be generous and give you a few tips.
Really?
Yeah. Now, these are the 3 most important rules when it comes to law. Rule 1, they can never see you cry. Rule 2, show no mercy. And rule 3, have fun and be yourself.
Does the prosecution have any more witnesses?
We do, Your Honor. The prosecution calls Alberta and Arminta contrary to the stand.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I
I do.
Please state your names for the court.
Well, I'm Arminta Contrary, and this is my twin sister, Alberta Contrary.
And you were witnesses to the murder of Greta Feta, correct?
Yes, sir.
Would you please tell us the account of that night?
Okay, so
We were driving along Main Street, me and my sister here listening to the radio, jamming out, when suddenly I see something on the side of the road. At first I think it's just an animal, like some roadkill or something, but then I look closer and I see a jacket, and I'm like, okay, who just threw a bundle of clothes just right on the side of the road, right? But then I see hair, and I'm like, hold on, I gotta see this. So Alberta and I get out of the car, and it's a dead body. How freaky is that? Am I right?
Alberta, is this what happened?
No.
Would you like to tell us what did happen then?
Not that.
Yes, it did. Remember? We were driving along and we saw the body on the side of the road. We were both like super shocked. We were all like, OMG, like a real dead body just right here on the side of the road. And then we called the police.
No, we didn't.
Yes, that's what happened. We were driving along, we saw a body on the side of the road, and we called the police.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
Did not.
Did too.
Did not.
Did too.
Look, are you two going to agree on one final story?
Yes.
No.
Having you both witness at the same time isn't going to be a problem now, is it?
No.
Yes.
Okay, let's just get straight to the point. Did you see anything that would lead you to believe Casey Illicit is the murderer?
I don't know. I mean, it looked like the body had been shot.
Do you own a gun?
You can't ask me anything. I'm not on the witness stand.
May the jury know that the defendant refuses to confirm or deny owning a gun. But to me, it seems like she's hiding something. No further questions, Your Honor.
That's your whole questioning? The fact that I may or may not, which I don't, by the way, have a gun? How does this even count
Would the defense like to redirect?
crazy? How does he just get away
That's
with everything?
it! You've lost your chance to cross-examine. Order in the court!
That's the problem! There is no order in this court! You can do anything and nothing gets... There is no order in this court. I can do anything.
You're excused. Does the prosecution have any more witnesses?
We do, Your Honor. The prosecution calls Archie Maniacal to the stand.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Can you please state your name for the court?
Archie Maniacal, former soldier of the battle at Maple Hill.
And what is your relationship to one of the victims?
Greta Feta was best friends with my granddaughter. I saw her a lot. But from the battle, I've seen lots of things. Would you like to hear about all the things I've seen?
Not really.
It was a cold night in the bunkers. Me and my fellow soldiers were huddled around the fire for warmth. Our fingers, our toes, all started freezing off. Let me tell you, it became a lot harder to count to 10 after that. Food was rationed. Snow was piling 3 feet high. We wanted to go home, but we couldn't let them win. You know who the enemy was?
No, but I bet you're gonna tell me anyway.
It was those Canadians! Well, not the Canadians themselves, but rather what belonged to them.
Oh, and what belonged to them?
It was that Canadian bacon. It's an outrage. Canadian bacon isn't really bacon. It's just ham. We couldn't let them get away with these lies any longer. The general said to attack, but we weren't ready. Although, I don't think we'd ever be ready for what happened next.
You're going to tell us what happened next.
The Canadians were everywhere, riding in on their moose, swinging their hockey sticks. Oh, good day to you, eh? They were so polite, but you knew they meant business. Moose to the left, Moose to the right. We were cornered, completely out of options. But that wasn't even the worst
Oh,
part.
please don't tell us the worst part.
The worst part was the maple syrup cannons. The sugary, sticky goodness hitting me right in the heart. Technically, there was no physical damage, but the emotional damage weighs me down constantly. To this day, I still can't eat syrup. My pancakes, my waffles, all dry, because I can't bear the look, the taste of
Well,
that
this
sweet.
has been a great story. Why don't we wrap up to questions?
I let them all down. My platoon, but most of all, the name and dignity of Bacon. Forgive me.
You know what? She's not worth it. No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the defense like to cross-examine?
I would, Your Honor. Miss Maniacal, you've seen a lot of things in your life.
Have I ever? I can still hear the battle cries in my platoon. It's just him! It's just him.
So you would be able to judge someone's character fairly well, would you not?
I've been around. I can tell the good from the bad, the good from the Canadian.
Do I seem like a murderer to you?
Oh, not at all. You seem like a perfectly lovely girl. Wouldn't hurt a fly. I trust you in my platoon.
There you have it, folks. This honorable vet says that I am a perfectly lovely girl. Wouldn't hurt a fly. No further questions, Your Honor.
Hey, you can't do that. There was no evidence. You can't just make claims off of loosely based statements.
That's what you've been doing this entire time.
Well, yeah, but that's my thing. You can't do it too.
I'm playing by new rules now.
Does the prosecution have any more witnesses?
We do, Your Honor. The prosecution calls Hester Hushed to the stand.
State your name for the court.
Hester Hushed?
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Now, Ms. Hushed, you were a witness to the murder of Greta Feta, correct? Would you please tell us the account of that night? I'm sorry, what was that? Miss, I'm going to need you to speak up just a little. Okay, see, now you just stopped talking altogether. I need you to speak loudly and clearly. Loudly and clearly. I need you to speak up. No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the defense like to cross-examine?
I would, Your Honor. Unlike the prosecution here, I have very good hearing and am able to hear what this witness is saying. I will articulate it for you. Miss Hushed, please tell us again what you remember. Okay. So you're saying that I'm not the murderer?
That's not what she's saying.
That I was nowhere near the scene of the crime?
You're making this all up.
That I am totally and completely innocent?
Oh, well, I don't really know about all that.
Aha. She just said she doesn't know if you're innocent.
That's not the way I heard it.
She literally just said she doesn't know if you're innocent or not. Miss Hushed, please say it again. Okay. Now she decides to be quiet again. Okay.
And now we'll never know. No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the prosecution like to redirect?
Well, if she's going to testify like that, I guess not.
Very well then. You're excused. Does the prosecution have any more witnesses?
We have one more, Your Honor. The prosecution calls Beulah Young to the stand.
State your name for the court.
Beulah Young.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. This is a child. When I got the witness list, I didn't know I'd be speaking to a child. I don't know what kids like these days. I don't know what's cool, what's hip. What do kids like? Puppies? Video games? The 1793 beheading Marie Antoinette? Aha. Well, hi there, Beulah. It's your good old friend Bago. Today, we're gonna talk murder, yay!
A puppet?
That's right, your good old friend Bago. Have you seen a murder?
How old do you think I am?
I don't know, 5, 13, 22. Anything under 30 is the same to me.
Well, I'm a little too old for puppets.
Okay, then, what do you like? Sports? Toys? Sustainable farming? Aha, juggling. Everyone loves some good old-fashioned juggling, am I right?
You could just ask questions.
I am a master juggler. They called me Juggles McGee in high school. Actually, I was going to be a juggler on the side while I was doing art. But we all know how that turned out, now don't we? Anyway, Juggles McGee, back at it again. Seems I'm a bit rusty, but still very entertaining nonetheless, right?
Not really.
You know what? There's no getting through to the youth of today. You corrupt generation. I'm done with her. No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the defense like to cross-examine?
I would, Your Honor. Miss Young, can you please tell me what you remember from the night of the murder?
Come on.
Maybe. This will help your memory.
Hey, that's my candy.
Please let the jury note that the prosecution is against sharing. Not sharing is a trait that a liar would have. Someone who would lie about someone else being a murderer. Now, Miss Young, please tell me what you remember.
Well, I saw a person who shot her, but I really couldn't make out who it was. But for another piece of candy, I could definitely confirm it wasn't you.
You've got it.
Hey!
Yeah, now I can totally verify that it was not you who shot Greta Feta.
See? Totally confirming that I am in fact not a murderer. No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the prosecution like to redirect?
Why didn't you say you were motivated by candy?
I guess she just knew what kids are into these days.
No further questions, Your Honor.
You're excused. Does the prosecution have any more witnesses?
The prosecution rests, Your Honor.
Very well. Does the defense have any witnesses that they'd like to call to the stand?
Witnesses, that I have. Yes, somewhere I have witnesses. I have.
You have no witnesses? You have nothing. There's no way you'll win this case now.
Face it, Casey, you're through. We might as well get ready to go home now.
Wait a minute. What's that all over your jacket?
Well, it's definitely not the blood of Bree Cottage, Pepper Jackson, and Greta Feta from their brutal murders. That's for sure.
Oh well, I guess if it's not blood from that.
The defense calls the bailiff to the stand.
What? Me? Why? Like, I have no idea why somebody stabbed Pepper Jackson 7 times at 6:48 p.m. on the 23rd.
We never said how many times she was stabbed or at what time.
Well, I guess I'm just like a really good guesser.
Casey, this is just a man who has a blood-stained jacket who happens to be a good guesser about murder details. There's nothing suspicious about him.
I want to question him.
Then I guess you'd better swear yourself in.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I guess.
Please state your name for the court.
Joseph Slayer.
And your occupation is a bailiff?
Yes, but I also own a restaurant, the Sloppy Joe's.
And what vehicle do you drive?
A white pickup truck.
The same as me, and the same as the murderers. Okay. Did you know any of the victims?
Well, not personally, no.
Then why did you kill them?
I didn't. Like, I don't know why someone would use a shoelace to strangle Bree Cottage to death and then drive her body to Little Creek Park on the corner of 4th and Elm.
For someone who is not a murderer, you seem to know a lot about the murder details, Mr. Slayer.
Well, you see, you're not going to get anything out of me. Unless you get a solid confession out of me, Mr. Scammerton basically has this case in the palm of his hands.
And it's true. Even though you were starting to come back a little at the end there, I've still got this case in the bag.
There has to be something here. Anything.
Just give it up, Casey. You've lost. You're not going to come back from this.
Not so fast. How has your restaurant been doing?
Well, I'll admit it's seen better days. Why?
Do you know the occupation of the 3 victims? Pepper Jackson, health inspector, Bree Cottage, food blogger, and Greta Feta, food critic. Sure, you may not have known these people personally, but you knew them professionally, and they were all in places of power to affect your business.
Well, sure, we've gotten a few negative reviews, and maybe our restaurant was the cleanest or most sanitary, but our food was still good.
Then you won't mind if we try some of your food then.
What?
If Bree Cottage, Pepper Jackson, and Greta Feta were all wrong about your restaurant, you would be okay with us trying some of your food.
You don't know what you're asking.
Why? Why can't we try some?
Well, it's,
Where's the food, Slayer?
it's...
Give us the food!
You want the food? You can't handle the food.
Why? What's wrong with it?
Everything. It's awful. That's why I had to kill them. Well, it was just one bad review after another. Bree slamming me on her food blog, Pepper saying our food was tasteless in the local paper, and Greta wanting to close us down just because of the rats, mold, and flies, and the fact that nothing was ever cleaned. I just had to protect my restaurant. I had to get this job as bailiff to cover costs because we were falling so far behind on rent. I put my heart and soul into that restaurant. I just couldn't watch the Sloppy Joes go down. I just couldn't watch my dreams die.
That's a very touching story. But you still committed the murders, so
Joseph Slayer, I hereby sentence you to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Court is adjourned.
Wait. So, does this mean I'm free? I'm free! I'm free! I'm free!
so
I'm
this
free!
means I lost? No. I can't lose, especially not to someone who doesn't even have a lawyer. This is the second biggest disappointment of my life, right after Daddy not letting me go to art school.
Why don't you just go to art school?
What?
Yeah. I mean, you're a grown adult. You can make your own decisions. Besides, those pictures you showed earlier were great.
Yeah, they were great, weren't they? You know what? I am going to art school, and no one's gonna stop me. Not even you, Daddy. I'm off to buy a new box of crayons right now.
Well, jury, that was one crazy ride. I was just on my way from New York to Miami, and suddenly all of this happens. There were a lot of objections and not a whole lot of order in this court, but I suppose it all worked out in the end. Say, do you know any good local food places? All this court stuff has made me famished, and I just know of one restaurant where I wouldn't want to eat.